CSS inheritance. So inheritance is a fundamental concept in CSS where certain properties of a parent element are automatically applied to its child element. Inheritance helps reduce the need for repetitive CSS declarations, making styling more efficient. So properties that inherit. So some properties are naturally inherited by child elements. This typically relates to text and appearance. So some of the text-related properties are color, font family, font size, line height, text align. We also have text transform. So we might have seen this, but might not really pay much attention to it, right? If you give a parent element a particular color type, let's say color red, all the child elements will inherit the same color you set on the parent element. All right. So other properties are we have the visibility. So this determines whether elements are visible or hidden. All right. So in this, look at this example here. We have body, color, black, and then the font family, area, and sans serif. In this example, all child elements of the body will inherit the color and font family unless overridden. So except you actually target a particular element and say, okay, this element must have so color. That is when it will change. So properties that do not inherit. So the way we have properties that inherit, right? Like the color, font family, font size, line height, text align, text transform, and some other properties, right? We also have properties that do not inherit. So many properties, especially those related to layout and the box model, are not inherited by default. So some of the box model properties are the margin, padding, border. So these properties do not automatically inherit from the parents. So layouts related properties like the width, height, position, display. So these properties do not inherit. So like margin, if you set margin 20 pixels on this div, it gets applied to only this element. Its child element will never inherit this margin. So here the child element of a div will not inherit the margin setting. So controlling inheritance, CSS provides ways to explicitly control whether a property should be inherited or not. So inherit forces the element to inherit from the parent, even if it does not inherit by default. I guess that's quite straightforward, right? So for instance, paragraph, like border does not inherit, right? So if you want the parent element or the child element to inherit the border of the parent element, then you have to set the inherit property on that element. We also have the initial. So initial resets the property to its default value. All right. So for instance, if a child element inherits the color property of its parent element, right? And if you don't want the child element to inherit that, right? You can actually set the property value to initial, and that way it will change it back to initial value. We have the onset, reset the property to its inherited value if it is naturally inherited, or to the initial value otherwise. And then we have revert, reset the property to the user agent's default style sheet or the value specified in a higher level of the cascade. Okay, let's see. I'll be able to enter color today. Oh, okay, let's look at this. Look at this home here. This section with an ID of home. It has just one child element, right? Article, and then article has two child elements, H2 and P. If I set the color property on section, right, automatically all the child elements, if are the descendants of the element of this element section here with an ID of home will have the same color. Okay, let's do that. But let's confirm the document. Okay, so CSS inheritance, right? And this is the section home. Welcome to my website and welcome to the home page of our site. Let's look at the document once again. Welcome to my website, and then welcome to the home page of our site, right? So the internal style So ID selector, if I give this color Doja blue, save, good, save, and then refresh. You see what just happened now? All the descendants elements of that parent element now inherit the color property of their parent elements. So let's inspect these elements. So I'm going to inspect this element. The section with an ID, the section element with an ID of home. So first, let's confirm that from our elements. Okay. Okay, good. So it's this section here, section with the ID of home. And as you can see on the web page, it has been highlighted, right? So I'm going to select it. Okay, so click on it. So you left click on it. Now look at what is happening here. So I'm going to open it. We have article. Article is the only child element of that section, right? Yeah, I'll open it up. And then I'll select this H2. Now, H2, let's look at color. The color for H2. Now, inherited from section #home, we have what? Color, right? So browser is telling you the properties that has been inherited from the parent element. So this color property was inherited from the parent element. That's for H2. Now, similarly for P, because P is actually one of the child elements of article, right? And article is the child element of section. So if I select P, let's look at P. Same thing, right? So these are the inherited properties, okay, that the element has inherited from its parent element. But if you don't want that, right, if you don't want the element to inherit or the parent's property, right, you can change that to your CSS. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a unique ID because we have a lot of paragraphs in our document. So I would like to uniquely identify this particular paragraph and give this a, let's say, home text, home text. So since it's an ID, I'm going to say home text. So one thing you can do is you can override the inherited color by saying, okay, I want it to change from Doja blue to maybe red. Save. If I go to the browser and refresh, it's not changing. Why? Let's confirm that the I've spelled this correctly. ID home underscore text. So why is it not changing? Home underscore text inheritance. This should work. Okay, let me refresh again. Okay, good. I don't know why that happened though. Okay, but then so we've been able to change the color now, right? But ideally, the initial color, that is the default color for every content or every element, is black, right? So if you want to take it back to the initial color, all you need to do is so first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment this out and refresh. So it's back to the inherited color, right? That's from the parent element. So if I want to give it the initial color property, say color and say initial, right? Save. Is it that the system is hanging or something? So I've saved the issue. So supposed to change to black. Let me refresh again. Good. I guess this system actually wants me to refresh it twice before it changes to what I want. Anyways, the point here is that we've been able to change the color of the P element from the inherited value to the initial value. And if you change it back again, I'm going to select the P element. So this is the P element. Okay, and you can see the color from red, okay, which was the first one we set on it, and the color now is now the initial value, which is black. And if you check the inherited color or inherited properties from the parent element, this guy is no longer there again, color, right? So that is how you can inherit and how you can change it back to the initial value. Another thing, or last thing I want us to take note is I would like to give to show us one of the properties that cannot be inherited, like border, right? So border, and okay, this home again, home. I will change the border. I will set the border basically to 1 pixel solid black. Again, don't worry, we are going to explain what these values means. So this 1 pixels means the border width, and then solid, that's the border style, and then black means the border color. Okay, good. So we have this border now, border. So border is not inherited. So it's not part of the properties that can be inherited by the child elements. So if I want H2, okay, this is section here, section, good. If I want this H2 to inherit the border property of its parent element, right? What I will do is I will, oh sorry, I would like that to be on the article. I will use descendant property, article, great. Descendant property. Okay, we still have it here. Great. Now I want this H2 to have the same border property as its parent element. That's article, right? And I will give this maybe another heading and say um, say main heading ID. All right, you're almost done. Main underscore heading. Now say border inherit. That's the value right here. Inherit, and then back. Then if I refresh, great. So you see, the H2 now has the same border as its parent element. So this is how you can inherit the value of the parent element, and how you can even change the value from inherit to initial value, and how you can as well override the inherited values in your CSS.